A Democrat politician tweets the stupidest thing ever posted to the internet.
Mr. Reagan.
Okay, so I was going to do a video of like maybe all the worst Biden moments or maybe all the best Trump moments or something like this, a quick breakdown of the debate. I'll probably still do something like that, but I had to share a video about this particular thing. This is unbelievable. There is a Democrat politician. She is a Georgia state representative. She's also a corporate attorney and an investment advisor. Her name is Darshun Kendrick. Darshun, but she has just posted during the debate, actually. She live tweeted the debate, and she hasn't taken this down, so my guess is that she's gone to bed. She's in Georgia, so it's quite late there at the moment. You know, she calls Trump a racist. She has a bunch of tweets here. She says opportunity zones have done devastation to communities of color and increased the wealth gap, which is not true. She's got a lot of other criticisms here that are ridiculous, but they're typical leftist criticisms. They're all absurd. But one of these tweets is unbelievable. I mean, it's truly hilarious. She's written here, and this has been ratioed. If you don't know what ratioed means, there's no dislike button on Twitter. So one of the ways that they determine whether people really hate a tweet is if it gets more comments than likes. This is the worst ratio I have ever seen in my life. She's got 1,600 likes, and she's got 22,000 comments, because this is quite possibly the stupidest thing I have ever seen written on Twitter ever. So she's written here, did Donald Trump just say that 545 kids can't find their parents that came over through, I think she meant, that came over through cartels and coyotes? How the hell does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Lord, stop talking. #final debate. So this woman believes that coyotes are the animal, that Trump is talking about coyotes dragging children across the border. She's unaware that coyotes are, of course, Mexicans down below the border that are paid to take people across the border illegally. She's unaware that is the terminology. This is common knowledge. Well, okay. I don't know how common knowledge this is. Obviously, I'm in politics, but I've known this for a very long time. I've known this for years, long before I got into political analysis professionally. You'd think that if you heard Donald Trump say something like this and you thought, oh, the animals taking, this is a weird, you'd think that you'd ask somebody or maybe look it up what maybe coyotes means. But she posts, oh man, this is so embarrassing. This has got to be deleted by tomorrow. I mean, it must be. And I thought maybe for a second that this was some kind of like joke account, like some kind of parody account or something like that. But this is not a parody account. She doesn't have a ton of followers, but she has a significant number. She has 11,000 followers. And here's the really frustrating thing. She has a blue check. I don't have a blue check. Where's my blue check, Twitter? Why am I not verified? I'm famous. But obviously this woman deserves a blue check more than I do because she is a public figure. But she's a public figure who doesn't know what the word coyotes means. All right, so let's read some of these responses because these are pretty ruthless and pretty hilarious. That in one moment. First, of course, I have to sell you something. A few weeks back, I'm sitting here in the apartment and a violent mob formed outside my building down there on the ground floor below. It looked like a war zone. At one point, my neighbor came to the balcony and he said that the vermin had broken into the lobby of our building. Valeria and I quickly developed a plan. We would barricade the door with the closets, which they're very heavy closets, and we would barricade the balcony with our bed. Now, of course, I took out the gun just in case. But it was in that moment that I realized that anything can happen. Coronavirus, angry rioters, natural disasters. None of us can really predict what might happen in the next few weeks, in the next months, or in the next year. And that's why you've got to be self-reliant. You've got to be prepared. That means food, water, and other vital necessities. I fully endorse and I highly recommend the products from My Patriot Supply. And the ad revenue helps pay the bills here, and it keeps this channel fighting the war against the Marxist left. So go to preparewithmrreagan.com and get a bucket of food that'll stay good for basically a gazillion years. And right now you can save $100 off a full 4-week supply. And most of you guys are already prepped. But for those who aren't, go to preparewithmrreagan.com and stock up right now. All right, so let's read some of these responses. Again, what she wrote was, how the hell does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Lord, stop talking. That's what she wrote. Brandon Tatum writes, must be an affirmative action hire. Now, Brandon Tatum is black, so that is a particularly ruthless comment. I thought that was pretty funny. Robbie Starbuck, always a star of Twitter, writes, in the words of Biden, come on, man. You cannot be an elected official and not know what a coyote is. Coyotes are smugglers who often end up pushing the people they smuggle into human trafficking to pay their bill off through forced labor or sex. That's right. A lot of these coyotes, if the girl that wants to come across the border, if one of the people that wants to come across the border is an attractive woman, they might force them into some kind of a sexual thing, or they might force them into human trafficking, as he says, in order to pay their bill to bring them across the border into the United States. Lori Hendry simply writes, she is so dumb. Mark Dice, genius of Twitter, genius of YouTube, he's got a blue check. Okay, he might be a little bit more popular than me. He writes, you obviously know nothing about illegal immigration, which is obviously true. Michael's from Portland, apparently. Michael writes, this tweet is how you will be remembered. This tweet is how you will be remembered forever. He's right. This tweet just made this girl famous. That is so sad. That is so sad. Praying actress, who's a friend of mine, I actually know her relatively well, lovely girl. She writes, that ratio you're receiving, though, and we're only 2 hours in. Right. Yeah, this is a pretty brutal ratio. Cassandra Scarebanks, Cassandra rules. She's big on Twitter. She's been quoted in many publications. She writes, wow, you might be the dumbest person on the internet. Congrats. I agree. Samantha Marika writes, whew, girl. Actually, Samantha Marika is actually a pretty cool girl. If you haven't seen her videos, she's awesome. Trump even tweeted out, I think, about her, A Star is Born. She writes, whew, girl, this is straight embarrassing. I agree. Katrina Pearson writes, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is why Georgians should vote Republican. I mean, for real. There's been a couple of instances with Georgia state representatives. There was another one a while back where this woman claimed that a white man had told her to go back to her home country. Turned out it was a total lie, and the guy was actually Hispanic. All right, somebody sent me these. I don't know who it was. They didn't give me their name, and they didn't even ask for promotion, but I'm going to promote them. Life Essentials Chicken Littles. If you got a cat, when the cat starts meowing, I just throw one of these, and he shuts right up. He loves these. My cat has never loved a treat so much. You got it? You want it? You want it? There he goes. He loves them. Anyway, I don't know who this is, but they obviously watched the show, so because they were like, I know that your cat is loud, here are some cat treats. They didn't give their name, but these work really well. Tiff writes, you're not very bright, are you? You stop talking. Which I think is appropriate. Hollister writes, she probably thinks drug mules are literal mules. That actually might be my favorite comment. Thank you, Hollister. That was hilarious. Lisa Britton writes, you might want to delete this. Jenna Ellis puts up a meme that says so sad, which is true. It is very sad. Leah writes, how many people screen captured this? I sure as hell did. Not only did I screen capture it, I've made a video about it. Ivan, or at Keldog69, fantastic name, writes, cartel hollows out the inside of a coyote, leaving only the heart and lungs, and then stuffs a child inside. The child has to be trained to drive the coyote from the inside by operating the tail like a rudder and looking through the nostrils. It's some real next level stuff. That's pretty funny. Let's see here. Dave Caldwell just writes, you're a corporate attorney. And then Darshan Kendricks actually replies to him, yes, and a damn good one. What's your point? Wow. That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Mark Dice actually responded to that and wrote, probably an affirmative action hire, which is somebody else wrote the same thing. Oh my goodness. Stephanie responds to that and she says, His point is, you actually think he was referring to an animal that carries humans. I would not want you as my lawyer. Whew. Okay, I'm not going to go through that feed, but that is pretty unbelievable. Let's see here. Oh, this is too funny. Carmine Saba writes, congratulations, you win Dimwit of the Year. Chris Allen writes, he's not talking about the animal. And then Monica on air writes, stop it, let her go. This is golden time on the Dum Dum train. Golden, I don't know why that's funny to me. That's pretty funny. Kenny Webster writes, I had to screenshot this because I know you're going to delete it later. Gosh, I hope she never deletes it. I hope this stays up forever and it gets a million comments. Let's see here. Tori Hammett writes, slang for a mover of people for hire. Watch some Netflix, please. I don't know if Netflix is your best news source, but yeah, sure. Darshan Kendrick responded to this. She writes, I don't have time for Netflix. Out here trying to stop Donald Trump from continuing to kill Americans. Well, if you don't know what a coyote is, I don't think you are knowledgeable enough about politics or the world to be doing anything politically one way or the other. You definitely should not be trying to stop Donald Trump from doing anything because you are an idiot. All right, let's see here. Jay at One Fine Jay. Hold on a second. More life essentials for my cat. Here you go. Jay at One Fine Jay writes, the coyote makes a painting of a tunnel opening on one boulder and it opens into another boulder on the other side of the border and the illegal aliens just walk through. I love it. Okay, let's see here. John Hawkins writes, if you're thinking this is when someone mentions a coyote bringing people over the border, you probably just don't know enough about immigration policy. And he's got a little Wile E. Coyote graphic here. Somebody, a gentleman by the name of Nathan, who has the name Support the Glorious ACB, which I totally agree with. He writes, I think this just goes to show how utterly ignorant and ill-informed most politicians are. Don't give these people power. I want to amend that. Democrat. It just goes to show how ignorant and ill-informed Democrat politicians are. Cameron Gray, a Dodgers fan, writes, how have you not deleted this? I think she's gone to sleep, Cameron. I think that's what's happened. Delaware Sasquatch, Shane and Misty, writes, he brings them across the border in his Acme rocket. The reason the kids are alone is because Acme is outsourced to China now, and, well, there are problems with said rockets. It's pretty funny. Rita Pahani tweeted a little meme image thing here, and it says, the best time to delete this tweet was immediately after sending it. The second best time is now. Yeah, I hope this is up for a very long time. I hope she doesn't notice this ever. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering why she hasn't deleted it. This is amazingly funny. Well, there's a lot of pretty funny stuff going on right now. Watching CNN try to debunk the Hunter Biden laptop without actually talking about what the controversy is at all about the laptop, what the evidence is in it, you know, what it has to do with Joe Biden, how it incriminates him. They're trying not to talk about any of that, and yet they're still trying to debunk it and say that it's, you know, Russian disinformation or it's not a big deal or something like that. Sacha Baron Cohen just came out with a film that he says shows Rudy Giuliani trying to sleep with an actress who's pretending to interview him, pretending to be a reporter. I watched the film. I watched the footage. He's tucking in his shirt. He's not doing anything inappropriate at all with her. In fact, despite the fact that they plied him with alcohol and she flirted with him the entire time relentlessly, he acted like a perfect gentleman. It's a non-story. It's ridiculous. What else funny is happening? On MSNBC, I saw them talking about how Joe Biden cannot possibly be tied to any of the stuff that Hunter was doing. And they were very emphatic. They were saying, you know, this is absolutely proven. It's shown that Joe Biden has nothing to do with this. This is clear. I wonder how many people are going to lose their jobs over this stuff, because they're lying. They're very obviously lying. They know that Joe is tied up in all this, and they're telling the American people that that he isn't, and they know it's not true. It's bizarre to me that people would. I guess they're confident enough that they won't get fired after this, that they're willing to do it. But to me, that's very sad. It's a very sad state of affairs that people in the media are perfectly willing to say things that are totally untrue, knowing that after the truth comes out, they still will have a job. It won't affect them whatsoever. They should all be fired. If you knowingly lie to the American people on national news, you should be fired. That's it. I mean, to me, that's despicable. Despicable. If you're a trusted media source, I know MSNBC should not be a trusted media source. I know CNN should not be a trusted media source, but they are. Many Democrat voters trust those media outlets for their news. Well, they shouldn't. They should never trust them because those people just lie to their face. It's unbelievable. But I guess that's not as funny. This is supposed to be a funny video, and I got into dark territory. I apologize for that. Well, I hope you all watched my post-debate live stream with Sebastian Gorka. We had a great time, and we covered a lot of interesting stuff. I think Trump did an amazing job during the debate. I think he killed it. I think he destroyed Joe Biden. I'm not exactly sure how leftists will perceive it. I'm pretty sure leftists will try to justify in their mind somehow that Joe Biden won the debate, or that everything that Trump says is wrong or something. But what I'm really happy about is that Donald Trump was able to get the information out about the Hunter Biden laptop and about Joe Biden's corruption, because I think a lot of leftists who had no idea what was going on with Joe are for the first time hearing about that stuff, and they will finally have to either be looking it up, or the left-wing media will have to talk about it a little bit. And they're going to try to say that Joe Biden is innocent and everything is fine and everything, but there are some Democrats who are going to take pause and say, whoa, I can't vote for this guy. He's totally corrupt. And I just hope there's enough of those people that Donald Trump wins the popular vote. That's what I'm going for. I know he's going to win. I know he's going to win the Electoral College. My hope is simply that he wins the popular vote this year. That's my goal. So anyway, I hope you guys found this as funny as I did. I know this was a quick one. It's supposed to be sort of lighthearted. All right, well, that's it for me. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. And that is because the mainstream media lies to them. Good night.
We have so many people who can't see a fat man standing beside a thin one without coming to the conclusion the fat man got that way by taking advantage of the thin one. The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. Now,